Event season in PokeMMO is almost here, and among all the new cosmetics, recycled content, and gambling comes my personal favorite piece of content, raids. Now, over the course of the last 2 years, I've been able to build enough of a raid-ready collection that I'd feel pretty comfortable jumping into most of the content that the MMO devs might throw our way this year. So this time, I decided to change things up a little bit. I'm going to be aura farming during raids this event season. Today, I'm going to be hunting and rebreeding shiny Pokemon that you can use in PokeMMO raids. Now, huge disclaimer, a majority of the takes in this video is speculation based on what we've seen in previous event seasons, and should be taken with a grain of salt. The PokeMMO devs don't leak their plans to any members of the community, nor do they guarantee any events or their release dates or anything for that matter. Damn, they really got us starving out here. While we have seen them recycle certain raid bosses and mechanics in the past, we've also seen them introduce new, challenging, and exciting mechanics. So don't come for me if they throw a curveball at us this year, please. Alright, that should cover most of my bases, so let's get started. Speed control is arguably the most important success factor in a raid. Raid bosses, more often than not, can one-shot your Pokemon. Because we usually prioritize doing max damage over bulk and sustainability, except for that one time with the Suicune, the basic mechanics of most raid is to do damage, then faint, then repeat, which you can't do if you get one tapped before you can even move. The most common form of speed control is Prankster Tailwind, which allows us to disregard the raid boss's native speed stat to set up. The two most notable Prankster Tailwinders are Murkrow and Whimsicott, both of which have their benefits and weaknesses. Murkrow is the gold standard because it can just set up a status move and is frail enough to just faint in one hit. Anecdotally, in the cases where I've used a Whimsicott or I've had a teammate use one, we found that it's much more tanky depending on the raid boss, and even in certain scenarios, the boss doesn't always target it, both of which can be an issue because for timing purposes, it's actually better for your setup mon to just do what it has to and then die. Majority of the time in 3 to 4 star raids, which is going to be the emphasis of this video, the margin of error is wide enough to where it really doesn't matter. Now, I don't have the shiny version of either of these, so we're going to have to hunt them down. The most efficient way to hunt Whimsicott is via the 3x Cottony horde in Lostlorn Forest in Unova, that's split between Cottony, Petilil, and Venipede, with the off chance that one of the horde members is actually a Zorua. The best Murkrow spot is a night-only 5x horde in Lost Cave in Kanto that's split with Mischievous and a ton of Golbat. I'm not gonna lie, these ratios are kinda garbage. The game plan here is to hunt for Cottony during the day and Murkrow at night, and we'll just take whichever one comes to us first.
Oh, oh, fucking hell. Okay, fine, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Oh my gosh. Evil freaking Bocchie got it. Motherfucker. Okay, so this is the build that we are going with. Nature really doesn't matter here, and neither does EV spread as long as it's not in bulk. I just happened to be training something else while this Murkrow was in the party. And then via Prismatic Pearls, I gave it Prankster for the ability, and for the learn set, I'm going with Tailwind, Defog, Haze, and whichever other move you might want in the 4th slot. Now before we move on to our next category, I'd like to mention a couple of honorable mentions for potentially useful shiny raid utility mons. Screensetters weren't really in the meta in the last year, but who knows, maybe a Prankster Sableye will return to the spotlight this year. Trick Room setters also have had their use. Some of the more common ones I saw were Cofagrigus, Bronzong, and Gothitelle, since they have Heal Block also. And of course, one of the most underrated raid utility mons, Smeargle. My shiny one isn't built, but I do remember us using using Sweet Scent as an alternative to Gravity once. I think we also used it to heal block one of the bosses. Super versatile. Really just throw a Choice Scarf on it and any status moves you might need. So for the rest of our shiny raid ready mons, while I could just make a build for any type and just be prepared for literally everything, the limiting factor with that is that I am poor, and frankly it's a dumb waste of Pokeyen. So I picked 4 Pokemon that I think would have the most usage in raids based on the 3 big strategies that we've previously seen. Of the 34 non-special raids we've seen in the last year, 25 of them could be cleared using a Thunder spam team, a Sun boosted Fire team, a Fighting team, or a mixed team between fire and fighting because of the new adaptability mechanic, which is a mechanic that I do expect them to make a lot more common this year to promote team build diversity. So the first strategy we'll be covering is Sun. Under the effects of Harsh Sun, which is procced by the ability Drought, all fire moves receive a 50% damage buff. This strategy gets very powerful once you start to stack multipliers, but a lot of the time in 3 and 4 star raids, you're just hitting so hard that even without a type advantage, you're probably gonna hit near the damage cap anyways. Now the neutral damage cap is obviously gonna be a bit lower, which you can refer to Xanarchy's post here for the nitty gritty, but for the most part, it's gonna get the job done, which is also why I can kinda see them nerfing that strategy, but that's just my guess. The devs can do whatever they want. That's between them and Giratina. So the 2 drought setters in the game are Torkoal and the Vulpix line. If you gym rerun frequently with the beginner strategy, you probably already have a good Torkoal. I personally opted for Ninetales because it's faster and hits harder, and a good majority of these raids tend to be damage and speed checks anyways. This is the star of the show today. I caught this shiny Vulpix a while back, and we actually don't need to rebreed this at all. It's mild nature, which is a plus special attack nature with a 31 special attack and 27 speed IV. So really all I have to do is give it Drought, and this is the final build. Overheat and some status moves that we may or may not need. So for our Sunfire DPS mon, I picked arguably the most versatile raid DPS mon you can have. Darmanitan. It definitely gives off the same aura as the firefighting starters. The unique thing about it though is that it's actually gonna double for both our Sunfire raids and fighting raids. Wait, both? But Darmy here is only a fire type. Now here's the thing, Darmanitan's base attack is so high that with a Choice Bandit superpower, you're still probably hitting damage cap on these normal type raid bosses even without the same type attack bonus. Easy, we're finally on the board. No getting carried here. I did my part. Goodbye 0 point gang, goodbye. Okay, so we didn't get Adamant Sync, but 31 attack, I'll take it. Anything to save us some cash on the rebreed. Alright, I'll take it. And this is the final build that I went with. Adamant 2x31 with attack and speed EVs, and the 2 main moves being Flare Blitz and Superpower. So the 2 main range setters are Politoed and Pelipper. There's a very specific build that you can make for these 2 to make it viable for the 5-star Heatran raid, whether you're using the Jinx strat or the Dig strat. Now, I'm not doing any of that. These fellas right here are just here to set rain and then die. So for our thunder spamming mon, I picked Pikachu, everyone's favorite mascot. The main reason why I picked Pikachu is because of its unique hold item, Light Ball, which gives it a boost to both its attack and special attack. Because of the item clause in raids, you can't repeat hold items in your party, so instead of worrying about switching around choice items or life orbs, we're just gonna let Pikachu use its own item. Now, I'm going to do something a little controversial. I'm going to be a little cheap for this rebreed. Let me explain. Pikachu has 2 builds. We can do the physical Volt Tackle direction, or we can go the special Thunder build. Objectively, the physical Pikachu is the stronger build and the build you should be going for if you're making a Pikachu, but I'm not doing that. So our star of the show is the shiny Pikachu that I actually caught for the childhood shinies video. It already came in 2x31 in special attack and speed, so all I have to do is just breed Modest Nature on it. If I did want to go with the physical route, it would probably take a couple extra breeds just to add the Volt Tackle and the Adamant Nature and the 31 attack IV, which is money that I don't want to spend. So just know that I highly recommend that you make a physical Pikachu, but life gave me lemons, so I'm making lemonade. And this is the final build. Those were some of my shiny Pokemon that I plan to bring in event season this year in PokeMMO. If you have any other Pokemon you plan on breeding or you think I missed any, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Much love and take care. I shiny hunt a ton in PokeMMO, and you can check them all out in this playlist right here.